for you out there, this is an experiment, and with many experiments, sometimes it doesn't work so well. Sometimes there are mechanical problems, sometimes there are things beyond our control. So I will try to review what we talked about the last time regarding Mordechai and Haman. Now Haman, if you believe it or not, Haman was a very, very successful man. The reason why he's successful is because he had great ideas and he had the power to bring those ideas to get them done. And the secret of that is found in the name of Haman. You see, every person has a name, and the person's name, he or she, is rooted in what is called the supernal man. That means God. God's manifestation, how God chooses to channel energy into this world. And there are certain key letters, and there are certain letters that have certain qualities. Without going in detail, since I don't have the chart in front of me, but if you wish, it's on page 29 in the book Sefer Yetzirah, translated by Rabbi Ari Kaplan. One of the more powerful letters is the letter He, for it says with the letter He, God did create the world. And in the tree of life, the He, which is the first letter of Haman's name, really comes from the tip of the crown to his right side, meaning that this is the original power that comes from the essence of the soul. The letters that you have channel energies from your soul, from the point of your soul, and are able to then bring it about. So Haman, or Haman, had the power to draw from his highest energy. That's the He. And then was able to take it to the Mem and the Nun. Now the Mem is a very powerful letter. The Mem deals with action. So here you have a person who is able to draw energy from the top of his soul power, from the top of his sensitivity, from the top of his creativity, a very creative person. And he's able to project it immediately into action. And the Nun, especially the end Nun, a Nun Sofit, shows how that energy comes down, 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 down to the last detail. Haman was creative. Haman was able to translate it into action down to the last details. Tremendous, tremendous administrator. It's no wonder that Ahasuerus, known as Xerxes, trusted him because of his success. What was Haman's Achilles heel? Haman's Achilles heel was that he was such an egomaniac that his person was more important than the good of the empire. If you crossed Haman, that was it, because Haman was what was the issue, not the good of the empire. And that became apparent throughout the whole story of Queen Esther, how Haman did not care about the good of the king, because the people of Israel, the Jews, were actually very loyal servants to the Persian kings. In fact, when Alexander wished to fight the Persian kings, he wanted the alliance of the Jews, and the Jews said, no, we are the friends and the associates of the Persians. And Alexander was going to destroy the temple as a result, but God intervened. But you see that the Jews were actually very faithful and loyal servants to the Persian kings. And so Haman's desire to destroy the Jews was because of his selfish interest, not the interests of the Persian Empire. Now Mordechai, he starts with the letter Mem. Mem is the letter that gets things done. And by him, the most important thing was not himself. It was to make sure that that which was necessary for the good of all should get things done. And so here you have a contrast between a man who cares only about himself and a man who cares about the welfare and the well-being of those whom he is in charge of those whom he relates to. And the most important thing is action. And Mordechai, of course, is a man who the principle outweighs his own personal consideration. That's why Mordechai is willing to stand up, and that's why a Jewish king has to stand up for the sake of the Torah. That's why the Jewish king is also called Moshiach. All of these words start with the letter Mem, meaning the person